Okay, this is John in Florida. I'm going to make some pizza dough here for 4 12-inch pies. Sorry you can't see me here, pie, but it's more important to see what I'm doing here for this purpose. So I'm going to start off, I got my handy scale here. I measure ingredients, but I don't really believe that it's absolutely necessary, but it's an easy way to do it. So I start off with 800 grams of King Arthur Sir Lancelot high gluten flour. So 800 grams. Let's see where we go here. 500. 600. We're going to get all 8 in this thing? I don't know. No, probably not. I'm going to have to split it up. Come on. Okay, there's 700. Goes in the mixer. There's another 100. Oops. 99. Well, 100. I don't know. I was right. 800 grams. Sir Lancelot high gluten flour. The next thing I'm going to do is put in some salt, and I'm going to use 16 grams of salt. I never remember any of this, I just write it down. So 16 grams of salt, oops, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 exactly grams of salt. Get it out of there. And now some water, 530 grams of water. I got a glass of water here. I put it in the microwave on high for a minute. And I'm going to see what the temperature is. I'm going to actually use one of these digital. I don't usually measure. I have no idea what the temperature is. I just know what it feels like on my finger. So when it comes out of there, we'll see what the temperature is. Meantime, for yeast, I'm using Fleischmann's Rapid Rise Highly Active Yeast. It's just off the shelf. 7 grams, which is 1 package. It's really just for convenience. I've tried various amounts of yeast. It doesn't seem to make much difference at all. So we've got that ready to go. Done with the salt. A little coffee for the chef. Okay, so we're going for 530 grams. That's about right. The temperature of this water is 97 degrees Fahrenheit, obviously. So we're going to go for 530 grams of water. Pain in the neck to pour it out of this thing, but I've done it many times. 530. I ran out. Need more. I got 400 in there now. Seconds. So I need, that's funny, what do I usually use, a bigger cup or something? 530 grams, I need another 130 of water. Put it in here for 30 seconds. Just so what this is, for the heck of it, even though I normally don't even pay any attention to this. 89 degrees, close enough. Shooting for 530. .537, close enough. To take the yeast, the only thing I do is I spread it very carefully around the top so it floats. I just find from doing this a lot of times that it doesn't stick to the bowl, and it just kind of nicely kicks the yeast off. So it's just spread it around the top, floats. And I let this sit for a couple of minutes. No specific amount of time. I guess we'll find out here today. If anybody's paying any attention to just how long this is. But I let it sit until it kind of pretty much all just dissolves. But it stays on the surface until I mix it up here in a minute. So this is kind of boring, but I figure I'll do this from beginning to end, just so there's no question as to what I do. Meantime, I have a couple of these plastic proofing trays that I bought at a local restaurant supply place. Little plastic covers here. And I've gotten in the habit of using Pam. I don't really need to. I don't know, my wife uses this stuff. I don't like it, but it's easier than wiping them with olive oil. Just quickly spray the bottom. I don't even think this is necessary, but it's just habit. The dough is going to come out of there anyway when you turn them upside down when you go to cook it, so it's no big deal. Okay, so now I've got this, you know, it's all still floating, but there's no dry yeast on the top here anymore, so I just stir it. Careful not to spill it. And this way it doesn't get lumpy. I found, you know, sometimes if you put the yeast in first and then add water, it sticks to the bottom. It's just a matter of you get the least lumps this way. So I stir it until it's pretty much all dissolved. A couple of little tiny lumps, no big deal. If there's a big one, I break it up. So this is it for ingredients. So while I'm stirring it, since I don't get any that rests on the bottom, dump it in. That's it. So now I've got this KitchenAid mixer that I just bought recently. A little bigger than the one I used previously. I don't really like it that much, but I needed a bigger mixer because I'm doing more dough. So as a result, you know, this is just, ingredients are just stuffed in here, just thrown in there. I have to mix this up first by hand. Otherwise, it takes too long for the mixer to, since the hook doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the bowl, you wind up getting in there with a spoon anyway and getting some of the dry ingredients away from the side of the bowl. So you do it like this first. It gets things going. Okay, so we're ready to go on the mixer here. About that. If anybody cares to see what it looks like in here. Oops. Not an unfamiliar sight. Just okay. So on the mixer it goes. In case you can't hear over the microphone, I go on the number 2 setting, which again it's pretty random what I wind up using here. So not on the lowest speed, but one up from the lowest. This is a 6-quart mixer, by the way. I'm gonna move the camera around so we can see. That's what's going on here. So this is looks kind of dry already. This is just the way. This is just right. It's just the way I make this dough. So we're going to do this for about 10 minutes. I don't know if we should really, I'm going to let the camera run here, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to just pull it off the hook since it's, once in a while I do this to make sure that nothing's pretty stiff dough right now. There we go. About 5 minutes so far. I go 10 minutes, I let it rest 5 and go another 5. 6 minutes so far. Gonna scrape it one more time. Sometimes it almost seems like what's on the bottom is not getting totally mixed, so just kind of move it around a little bit. Gives me something to do if nothing else. You want to see what the consistency is? Looks like you could hang wallpaper with this pretty well. Starting to come away from the bottom of the bowl. Sometimes I think it's just going around in circles here. So if it does that, go and pull it off of here. I kind of like the way it cleans the side of the bowl a little bit. It almost looks a little drier today than usual, but again, pull it off the hook. Scrape it off the bottom a little bit. Just make sure it's all getting worked. Okay, that's about 10 minutes. So now I'm going to let it just sit for 5 and pull it off the hook, not for any particular reason, just again to give me something to do. So these times are not, I don't think the times have anything to do with the outcome in particular. Sometimes I've done 10 on, 5 off, another 10 on, but I found that I tried 10, mixing for 10, letting it sit for 5, and then mixing for another 5, it's the same basic outcome. So we're just going to let this sit for 5 minutes. Meantime, I'm going to show you the stone I use, since when I'm baking these, I'm not going to be able to do that, obviously. It's going to be kind of hot because it'll be in the oven. So this is, I forget now, it's Old Stone. I'll post the name of this company, but this is a cast pizza stone. Hopefully you can see it okay. A little too close. You can tell it's cast, looking at the bottom easily and the edges. It's pretty heavy, and it's porous. You can see these spots here. Just watch the time. Where some oil has come through that's dripped on here. So it's so porous that oil will actually make it all the way through the stone. I've never used any other stones. I just happened to get these in the first place, and this has seen a lot of use, and it works really well. All right, so we got about another 3 or 4 minutes here. Once I get done with this, I'm just going to toss it out on the counter over here. I got some flour, and just do nothing but split it up into 4 pieces and into these proofing trays, and then it's going to go in the fridge. Refrigerator's at 35 degrees F. It's 5 o'clock in the evening now. It'll go in there, and it's about when I'll cook it tomorrow, about 24 hours. All right, kind of boring sitting watching dough rise. Very exciting. But for the purists, you want to see it from beginning to end, we'll do beginning to end, which is a good idea. That way there's no question as to exactly what I do or don't do. Again, the yeast I'm using, nothing special. Nothing special at all. One of these days I'll get around to trying some fancier starters, but I just haven't been varying a lot of these things just to be able to get consistent results. Just getting to this point, so. Maybe another 2 minutes. About another minute, roughly. It's not precise. I wonder what the temperature is. I'm taking 77 degrees. It's the temperature of the dough, for all it's worth. The bowl is 75, 74 degrees. So 77 degree dough temperature. What that would mean. Okay, close enough to 5 minutes of rest. Back on for another 5. clean the bowl a little bit. No sense in washing good dough down the drain. There we go. Clean off the hook a little bit here. Okay, close enough. So it was cleaning the bowl perfectly here. There's just a tiny bit of residual on the outside. I'll show you the bowl in a minute. So, it sticks to the bowl pretty good now, but kind of a pain in the neck to get it out of here. Let's see that in a minute. Let's make sure we can see what we're doing here. I think that's good. So, not bad. Sometimes it's a little wetter than this, it seems, but this is kind of a normal amount of effort it takes to get it out of the mixing bowl. Sticks. Okay, so there we go. Very sticky. Oops. A little flour here. So we're going to make 4 pies with this. Which I scientifically divide up by eye. So, make up 4 nice little holes. Turn them inside themselves. Into the proofing trays, push it down a little bit. Feels pretty rubbery. Really bounces back to the touch. There we go. 2. 3. 4. And cover them up. So that's it. That's the way they'll go into the 35-degree refrigerator for 24 hours. When they come out, they'll far more than double in size. They'll almost fill up a fair amount of the container. We'll pick up there tomorrow and